Well, hello class and happy Friday. Every Friday I will be providing you with these weekly updates. So, what you have done so far, you've done a lot. Week 1, you had the introductory principles where you read chapters 1 and 2. You did your Flipgrid introductory video, which was awesome, getting to know all of you and a little bit more about your stories. And you also completed your first KWL discussion, which also was incredible. You had such robust discussions, and I was so happy to see you learning from each other. Isn't it much more fun and interesting learning from each other rather than just me? You have so much to share with each other, so thank you for doing so. Please go back to that discussion if you haven't already and see that I posted after the last response a summary of the discussion. I gave some extra resources for those of you that were interested in learning a little bit more about such things as addiction, orphan drugs, and so forth. So please take a look at that. Next, in Module 2, we went on to beginning to think about how to think like a nurse and that nursing process. And that's so important in this pharmacology class. And that's one thing, pens up, that I find nursing students have the most difficult time with is beginning to critically think like a nurse. You can memorize the content, you can understand the complex cellular level functions of the pharmacodynamics and kinetics that are happening. But what's really challenging for students is really beginning to think like a nurse, because nursing is different for you. This is a new field that you're entering into. So remembering how to prioritize. It's not just enough to know the steps of administering a medication, but to be able to prioritize and think like a nurse. So in Module 2, you read chapters 3 and 4. And at the end of this module, on Sunday, you will have your very first Prep U assignment due. And that's due Sunday at 11:30 p.m., your first Prep U, and that is on chapter 4. And you need to achieve a mastery level of a 3 in order to get full points for that. So please make sure that you get that done. And it's not hard to get to a level 3. Most students have been very appreciative that I don't make you get to the highest level. You can do prep U's for the other chapters. Although they are not assigned, they're not for a grade, you can do those adaptive quizzes, and you can find those under practice questions in your Lippincott resources. So I would recommend doing that for chapters 1, 2, and 3 as well. Remember to do 5 questions at a time, because then you'll get your answer, so you'll be able to remediate. You'll be able to go back and say, well, why did I get that one incorrect? And please contact me if a question is not making sense. I can help you think through that. Remember, exam 1 is 2 weeks from today. So I will be posting the exam 1 review guide. So please go ahead and take a look at that. You will definitely want to use your reading guides as you are preparing for your exam. But this exam guide lists out topics on what you need to know. So these are the topics taken straight off the exam, so you know what you need to know. I know there's a lot of content in these courses and in pharmacology, so it's really helpful to students to know what to know. And we don't have the approach of, well, you just got to know the textbook, know everything that's in the reading. You do need to know what's on that exam guide. And then remember that the exam 1 review is going to be on September 17th at 10:30 in the morning, which is just 3 days before your exam. So you do not want to wait until that exam review before you start studying. Make sure you're studying as you go along. Make sure you're doing the Quizlets. Again, those terms are taken from the text on what you need to know. The exam review will be held at Pleasant Prairie, and it will be done in a live format. It will also be recorded, and it will also be live streamed, so you can hop on from a remote location if that is better for you. Please send in your questions, things you want us to go over. Please continue to post to ask your instructor Discussion board, I'm sorry I was not receiving alerts, so there was a couple questions on there that were left. Remember, I will always return your emails within 24 hours. If you do not receive an email returned from me within 24 hours during the week, please let me know again that you did not receive a response. I do not ignore students, but sometimes they go into a different mailbox, or I flag them to return later and I miss them. Because I get a lot of emails. So it's not on purpose. Give me 48 hours on the weekends, but again, I usually get back to students pretty quick. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care. Have a great weekend. Do something fun for yourself. Take care. Bye-bye.